All righty. So I'm placing my hands on my heart, taking that breath of love and gratitude, allowing everything to fall away that came before this moment, setting aside anything that is to come after our meeting today, knowing that we can easily and effortlessly pick it up again if it is ours to do. We are grateful and thankful to be the two or more who are gathered in the name and the nature of love. We are grateful and thankful for our willingness, our desire, our devotion to living the teachings of Jesus through A Course in Miracles, to walking through this world with our hearts and our minds wide open, remembering the truth of our being, which is unconditional love, pure innocence, perfect wholeness. We're grateful and thankful for our mighty companions, our earthly and heavenly helpers. We ask that they join us now, surrounding and supporting us, blessing all who are here and all who may listen later. We're grateful for our willingness to have open hearts and open minds, and to be good receivers of the all good. We are claiming it for ourselves right here and right now. And we're grateful to be able to share the benefits of all that we receive and all that we are with Mother Earth and all her beings, because we are one. In grace and gratitude, we let it be, and so it is. Amen.
Amen.
So we are still in chapter 9, the plan of forgiveness. We've moved into section 4, looking beyond error. And I have to admit, I was having a difficult time getting into this one. I think it's mostly just because I'm so distracted. Yeah. So I had a bit of a rough weekend. And so reading this felt arduous because my mind did not want to take it in and receive it, but I did I did get some stuff from the last paragraph 13, so I will start there. Fairy tales can be pleasant or fearful, pretty or ugly, but no one calls them true. Children may believe them, and so for a while, they are true for them. But when reality dawns, they are gone. Reality has not gone in the meanwhile. The second coming is the awareness of reality, not its return. Behold, my child, reality is here. It belongs to you and me and God, and it is perfectly satisfying to all of us. Only this awareness can heal, because it is the awareness of truth. And I double circled where he says reality is here, because I feel like it's so easy to fall into forgetting that and thinking that reality is this life that we're living. But I was feeling challenged this weekend. Friday was the 5-year anniversary of my mother's passing. Yesterday was the 4-month marking of Rudy's passing, and I had a difficult situation pop up on Friday afternoon when I was driving home from my girlfriend's house that I had been walking at, where I'm driving down this road that I've driven many, many times, and this old guy with a cane steps off the curb right in front of my car and collapses to the ground. And it shocked me. It really shocked me. And luckily I was paying attention enough to slow down and then to stop and put my flashers on. And he wasn't getting up. And so I thought maybe he was really hurt. So I got out of my car. The guy that was ahead of me also got out of his car because he saw him in the rearview mirror. And then somebody else that was coming in the opposite direction stopped. And the three of us walked over to the guy, and we were talking to him and asking if he was okay. And we tried to get him up off of the ground. And it took all three of us, but his legs were not strong enough to hold him up. And so I think it was kind of like a trigger, like a flashback for me from some things that happened with my husband. And it kind of put me in a bit of a spiral. And so the weekend, not that it was horrible. I was having trouble sleeping and I was having nightmares. And I remember waking up at like 3 o'clock in the morning. Because this was the first weekend that I haven't had like lots of plans. This was actually the first couple of days I hadn't had lots of plans. And so I watched this movie and I woke up. It wasn't that great. And I woke up in the middle of the night and I was so angry because I realized that the movie that I thought was a romantic comedy, like the theme of it at the end was that the guy had decided to sacrifice his life for the girl. And I got so pissed off about that. It was the meaning that I was making of it was like, if I would have loved my husband enough that I would have sacrificed my life for his. And the thought of that like enraged me so much that it took me like 2 more hours to fall back asleep. And in the end, I realized, first of all, that's BS. There's no possible way that would be true. And, and just realizing that the whole thing is an illusion. And maybe the meaning of it, not that there has to be a meaning of it, but maybe the meaning of it was for me to see that there is absolutely no possible way that would have been of benefit to Rudy. So it's possible, but I don't know. But I was having all of these things pop up in my mind over the weekend about that movie, about the guy that collapsed, and feeling judgmental about the EMTs that finally showed up because he was obviously like semi-homeless. Apparently he was staying in a hotel like a block away, but he smelled of like urine and all kinds of other things that but the EMTs obviously knew him, like they knew him by name when they got there, and were not treating him very well. And so I was having judgments about that. But then I was thinking like, okay, so if he's like a local drunk that wanders the streets and does stuff like this often, it's probably just very frustrating for them because they get pulled away from what could possibly be actual emergencies to help this man. But it was just like my mind was so distracted and like playing with all of these things. So it's good for me to hear that fairy tales can be pleasant or fearful, pretty or ugly, but nobody calls them true. So I can just be in that spot and feel the distraction and not judge myself for feeling distracted. And remember that reality is here. And so my right mind is here whenever I decide that I would like to go back to it. So anyways, that's what I got from reading our section. Anybody else have anything? Because I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, this one was, I would agree. I read this and it just was a very, oh, it's maybe the word. I don't know if dense is the right word for it, but it was all, yeah, it was, I didn't I read it and didn't pull anything specific from it other than um where was it? The confusions of functions are so typical of the ego that you should be quite familiar with it by now. The ego believes that all functions belong to it, even though it has no idea of what they are. This is more than mere confusion. It is particularly dangerous combination of grandiosity and confusion that makes it likely that the ego will attack anyone and anything for no reason at all, because this is exactly what it does. And I understand that. Like that I can relate to because I understand that that's what the ego does. And from my understanding to it, I'm getting into the book Jesus' autobiography. He talks about that like we put a negative connotation on the ego, but we come in here with it.
Yeah.
Come here with it. So and he says it in the book too. He says the ego's job is protection. So this, if you ever think about like how when I was reading this, I was thinking to myself like, well, everything that we usually fear, if we think of like fear in our heads and in our brains, it's usually things that haven't happened yet.
Right.
You think about fear, almost everything it's our mind or our ego making up scenarios of things that could happen that it wants to protect us from.
Right.
So that's kind of out of all of these chapters. And I was reading this, I'm like, damn, man, like I'm not pulling a lot out of this. And then I read that and I'm like, well, that makes sense because that's usually what the ego does is it wants to protect us, but it protects us through attack and not through collaboration and contribution. It's the opposite. So yeah, that's what I pulled out of this. It is unpredictable in its responses because it makes us do things that we don't even sometimes know that we're capable of doing.
Right.
I mean, I've done some dumb stuff in my life that I'm like, how the fuck did I do that?
Right.
But I'm like, well, it was probably from a place I was probably scared or thought something was going to happen. So in anticipation of it, I'll do this. And I'm like, wow, that was not a good choice. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I pulled out of this. If you were saying, Linda, that you had a hard time like putting words to what you read, I did as well until I came to 8, and then it was like, yeah, that I can get.
Yeah. And it makes sense. Like the confusion is the function of the ego
Yes.
because it does not feel safe if we are operating from a place of trust and faith
Hmm.
instead of a place of thinking that we know what should be happening or what should happen or what should have happened, like thinking we have all the answers. Ego just wants to be right.
Well,
So
you just said something that's interesting. You said when we're safe, the ego like when we're safe, then I'm equating the ego as not safe. So if we feel safe, the ego now is like, shit, I'm not safe. I have to create something to make me safe.
yeah,
Starts in here, not in here.
right. Yeah, because the ego feels that if we feel safe, then it's not needed anymore. And that's the death of the ego.
There you go. Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Can I speak?
Yeah, go ahead.
I, I think all thoughts are just offered to us. We get to choose which ones we believe, right? And it seems very challenging. I think we've altered ego, its original function, because it's like a program, right? And we can alter programs, and I think we've altered it. And so maybe it's this job to keep us safe and it brings up all these negative scenarios in case, but we started believing them, right? We started believing they're real. And so we started, because we believed them, then we made them sometimes real because we believe them. Isn't that what it says in 13?
Yeah.
But if you believe it, reality's gone, and when we stop believing, so it's very challenging to, if that happened, and what if you'd just driven around that guy? He's not real,
Right.
only love is real. And so I'm just going to drive around. That's not nice. We're here. You got to address what is, if the kitchen table is messy, we have to clean it up or it just gets messier, right? And that's the challenge to do, to address where we're at, and then but still hold the truth. And what is loving? Is it loving to stop? I mean, who's deciding? Is it the ego in us, or is it the spirit self in us? We believe whatever we believe is real, is authentic, or whatever. That's where we come from. And that's what I heard in this section, is that notice, who are you listening to? If you're fearful, yeah, it's definitely not the Holy Spirit or the Spirit self or whatever, God or whatever you want to call it. God would not. Now, ego could have been offered something. Oh, this could run from the berry when times are very simple, but now it's made things very complex. Life is simple. Life is love. And when we stop believing that and start, it seems like in the world, there are plenty of people who are not doing loving things. So what can we do? What can we do? If we can't do anything, we do our best of whatever is in front of us. And if we can't change it, this marching gonna help? Was ignoring it gonna help? No. Sometimes I don't know what is the most helpful thing. I ask, and we think we know what we're not being answered, but we're always answered somehow. You've answered with the next person I talk to, or the next book I read, or the next sometime, but I may not be aware of when the truth shows up. And that's our job, is to pick and choose. And that's kind of what the ego's job is too. It picks and chooses. Definitely, I don't know how old you are now, but say 15 years ago, did you believe then what you believe now is true? Do you think it changed? No, the only thing that changed is our awareness, or what we desire to choose. And life, I think life is a practice. Isn't that what they call medicine? Practicing medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll give you an experience I had. So about 3 weeks ago, can you hear me? It says done speaking. Interesting. On my phone. Okay, so just tell me if I stop, speak up. So I was not, I had an abscess, and so I had one other one here, and I'd gone to the doctor, but I had to wait 2 days, and so I didn't want to wait 2 days, and so I went to not the specialist, which I'd had to wait 2 days for, but just to a regular doctor. And they gave me these, they said, well, we're gonna, because this is the second time you've had it, we're gonna give you larger, different medication, you know? And I thought that was a good idea. And so the second day, and I'd taken it, about 2 hours after taking it, I went to sleep and I woke up and my whole body hurt. I had a huge headache. I could not get rid of it. Usually stretching helps me, but I could not. I had to take some pain pills to get rid of it, and pretty strong ones. And so I went back to him. I tried to suffer through it, but I had like 5 days of pills, and so that means I had 3 days left, and I don't want to feel that horrible for 3 more days. And so I went back to him, and he said, "Oh, they may be too strong for your body," but he didn't say stop taking them. He didn't say. He just gave me more medication. He didn't say, well, we'll change to this, it's very interesting. So I took them for the 3 days. I completed them, and I felt really horrible. And even after I finished them, I felt really horrible. And just now, after reading this section, I mean, I feel it, right? It's real, okay, right? But I just then I started praying. I don't know why. I just wasn't as attached to the feeling and fearful and angry. I was kind of angry. Doctor is supposed to make you feel better, but the doctor made me feel worse. And it's been 3 weeks, and I'm just tired of it. And which is ago, and I let go because only love is real, right? So somehow this doesn't feel like it, doesn't seem like it. Where's the love in this? I don't need to know, but I need to. This is my opportunity to practice choosing love for myself and being kind to myself, and not being angry at the doctor, and not being blaming him for giving me those freaking horse pills, and just letting it go. And since I did that, since I offered it up and chose love, which is the atonement on page 90 in this book, atonement is pure love. It says it right there. So to stay there and love is really, it could be challenging. That was very challenging. It's 3 weeks of, oh man, I couldn't eat. I couldn't hardly sleep. It was just, I could say it was horrible, but is that love? If it was helpful, somehow it was helpful. It's helped me choose love more. Would they want it again? No, I want it again. That's okay. Thank you. No, thank you. I got it. And so for 2 days, I think I've been feeling much, but I'm still really weak, but I'm doing much better. I'm able to do so much more. I'm able to eat. I'm able to not feel horrible every single friggin' time. It's just, all these things happen to us in life, but it is only ever love unfolding, ever. Now, the mind, with the separate ego mind, whatever you're going to call it, what tries to tell us stuff, and it seems like it's off then. It's really, and then if we forget, don't blame ourselves. Just the Course says, choose again. We recognize it. We go, oh yes, no, go and choose again. That's what I did. I didn't blame myself for all these things, 3 weeks of suffering and believing it and getting angry and not choosing love. And it was okay. That's what I did. But there's only now, only ever now. So right now, I don't choose that. I choose love. I choose to love myself. And the doctor, I mean, that's if because when I'm anchored in him, then I'm believing his error, right? And I'm making it real. So that's what this tells me. This whole section. It was very challenging to read, but I'm grateful. I don't feel grateful, and it's what doesn't feel grateful? Ego doesn't want me to feel like this section. Then it's really important to read it again and be open and willing and love myself and whatever I chose to do. So that's all I got to say. I don't know how long I went on, but thank you.
Thanks, Carla.
And you can mute me if I'm not muted.
Okay, I gotcha. Yeah. Ego. I really feel like, because I know there are some Course in Miracles students and teachers that talk about the ego like it's trying to kill us, and that, you know, that we have to like overcome it. But I really feel like it's trying to survive. It's not trying to kill us.
Mhm.
And that it actually would be more helpful if we can just integrate it into, you know, it again,
It's not going away.
exactly. It's not going to go anywhere. It reminds me of the Dark Crystal, the movie, The Dark Crystal, again, where the two beings end up coming together because they were originally one being and, you know, got split off into the, you know, the Zen out chanting dudes and the Skeksis that were the creepy evil ones supposedly. But yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting living this life.
I mean, I just look at it like if we believe we chose to be here, we chose this body. You chose your parents. You chose, you know, this experience that we have. So we chose this. Okay. If we believe that to this body incarnate is the one that I chose for this time, then and apparently in reading, you know, this autobiography of Jesus, that's exactly what we do. Is we choose these things, this body to come into, to experience, because like the body's just like a marionette. The inside is what kind of moves the parts, moves the arms, moves the legs. It's the spirit inside. Once you pull that out and that's gone, you just have this like piece of dirt and water, which is what we are really. We're just 70% water, 30% dirt, which is what the earth is. So when I look at it from that perspective, I say to myself, okay, so then let's move through life in conjunction with all of the things that are going to happen in my life. Is everything going to be hunky-dory and roses? No. I mean, I'd be like, who am I to think that I'm not supposed to have bad experiences?
Yeah.
But I want to feel those bad experiences because that's part of the human emotion. We're still, you know, we still have that one foot in the metaphysical and the one foot here because we're here.
Yeah.
You know, like we're experiencing touch, taste, smell, you know, we have all these senses to experience these beautiful things that earth provides for us. And when things don't go our way, I look at it like, okay, this isn't going to go my way. What so? Okay, well, what so is somebody just hit my car. All right, well, what now? What can you do about it now? And then I just you move forward that way instead of just reacting to things. Your response ability is your ability to respond to certain scenarios and situations that are negative or what we perceive as negative. It may not be negative. We're just perceiving it that way because it ended up doing something to us that we just didn't like. So I don't know. I kind of I look at it like it's necessary, and I do what you said, Linda. I want to work the ego in to my heart and that crystal center behind my heart, which is really me,
Yeah.
the essence of me, that glowing part behind your heart. I want to work that into conjunction with the ego so I can have the best experience I can. So when something shitty does happen to me, hey man, like I can laugh it off and be like, all right, like, hey, I'm still here. I'm still experiencing life. I can still breathe and move and do those kinds of things. So um I do look at it like we are part human. Like it's not, we can't just, I don't look at my life and say that I am, I don't, everything that happens to me is not real. I don't look at it that way. I look at something that, like when my father passed away, that's some real shit. That's
Yeah.
real. He's now not here physically anymore. And I had an emotion to it and I felt it. And I'll always say to anybody who has someone who passes, there's not a book that tells you how to experience passing. You
Yeah.
do what you feel is right for you, and you're not wrong for it. And so I look at it like that in terms of these experiences are real. And then it's how I respond to those experiences. And I'll take my 10 minutes and have a fucking pity party and scream every curse on planet Earth. But then after that 10 minutes, it's like, all right, done. Now what? Now we move on. Be solution oriented. And that's kind of how I like to experience life and look at it from that perspective. So I don't know if that helps anything here, but it just goes to piggyback on what you said. Like I'd like to marry the two, the
Yeah.
ego and the spirit, and that crystal center behind your heart. That's you, man. If we can marry those two together and experience life that way, boy, oh boy, would experiences be better.
Yeah. I feel like that's kind of what Jesus was doing. Like when he was on the earth, he had it pretty much together, but it seemed like from the stories that have been told that, occasionally his ego was running the show.
Yeah,
And I, can't blame him. I can't imagine how many times he had the eye rolls going on with the 12,
yeah,
like
yeah,
dudes, how many times do I have to tell you? Um,
yeah.
so yeah, what
It's
I,
wild what's in this book and what's in the Bible that are completely two different things.
yeah, who wrote,
Great.
I mean, where did you get it?
My mother told me about it.
Okay.
I just bought it on Amazon. It's Jesus'
Okay.
autobiography. And they talk about the Course. He says in the book, because this woman challenged him, he said, like, much of what's in the Course in Miracles is, he said, that's my teaching.
Yeah.
It's wild. But they're like, he had brothers and sisters. He fought and played with them like any other kid. Like
Right.
all
Yeah.
these things, and like the Bible that talk about it's not even close to what's the truth.
Yeah.
Crazy. And he said that. He said the Bible is an interpretation of church, man, and ego.
Yeah.
I was like, oh wow. Yeah. So it's a fascinating read.
Yeah. I might have to delve into that. Have a couple other books ahead of.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead, Carla.
Let's see if I can get it now. Shoot, I'm speaking. I do this thing called unknown quote of the day in this group. And this is one of my last quotes. A secret to happiness is letting each situation be what it is instead of what you think it should be, and making the best of it. And that sounds like what I just heard Daniel say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because think about it. It's perfect what Carla said. The situation, whatever happens, the experience, like the happening has no feeling whatsoever. It just happened. Your car got hit. Someone bumped you in someone cut you off. That has no feeling whatsoever. It's just the experience. What you put on it is how you're going to react or respond to it. It's your emotional, um, experience of what you think it is how you're going to react.
Yeah.
Not the experience itself. The experience itself is static.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, I know my ego was going to town with what happened when I saw that old guy. And I say old guy, but he was actually only a year older than me. That's what I came to find out.
Yeah.
And so yeah, he was a drunk, but we don't know what his life was like before he started self-medicating.
Sure.
And so I was feeling like I was coming more from a place of love and compassion. And I would not have even been able to live with myself if I would have saw that happen and just drove off.
Yes. Yeah.
But again, that's an ego response. That's an ego response. And, I was able to come to a conclusion about like the judgment I was feeling about the EMTs who were obviously like irritated because apparently Sloan has been on their radar on many occasions, and
Right, right.
a lot of their time. So you can't blame them for being irritated with him either. So it was interesting, a whole interesting experience just to see where my thoughts went, first of all, realizing when we were picking him up and I was smelling like urine and God knows what else. And the fact that he could not sustain his own body weight with his legs, like all of the stuff that was going through my head, it was just interesting watching it. And it was nice because I was not being judgmental towards myself for having this seeming triggering event, being able to associate it with watching Rudy collapse when we were at the airport in Portland, Oregon, and seeing him slumped over in the bathroom the day he died. Like, I'm giving myself some grace to have a couple of days to be like, people, I'm just out. I'm just fucking out. There's nothing here except for grief and anger and frustration and wishing things were different. And I would not have been able to give myself that in the past. I would have been judging myself for not being productive or for having a little pity party, even if it does last a couple of days. So to me, that is progress. And that is the progress of being willing to be unconditionally loving to myself and to Sloan and to the EMTs and to other two guys that stopped to see if he was okay and try to help. Like, I'm grateful for this experience, and sometimes it sucks.
That's the best way to say it.
Right. But it, again, it reminds me, here we go with the movies again. It reminds me of in the Matrix, when the guy tells Neo, like, yeah, we tried to have this utopia where everything was perfect and y'all weren't buying it. So, we had to make it so there was pain and destruction and violence. And so, yeah, we're just here to experience it all.
We had a perfect human and we couldn't handle him.
Right.
So there's no surprise there. I mean, the Matrix is that movie is so related to humanity. It's like, it's crazy. And it was made 20 something years ago.
Yeah.
A couple of things come to mind. I mean, I would share this because whenever I see things like that, like people that are in need, whether I'm in my car or walking, whatever, I've put that to God like years ago, where it's like, if you're going to use me as a vessel to help, then you're going to let me know that I'm to help them.
Yeah.
And I've done that where I've pulled over numerous times, either on motorcycles or in my cars, to help people on the side of the road.
Yeah.
And then there's been other times I just drive right by them because
Right.
I don't have the opportunity to stop. And I'm like, okay, God, that's for somebody else to take care of.
Yeah.
So I use that. I mean, so when you were saying like, sometimes I would have felt guilty if I didn't stop for them. There's probably times, Linda, where you drove right past somebody
Yeah.
that needs that, like, but that's not for you to do. That's like God saying, nope, that's somebody else's responsibility, not
Yeah.
yours. So that's I've done that over the years, with it. So yeah, it's that just came up for me as far as what you were mentioning there.
Yeah. Thanks for that reminder, Daniel. Yeah. Because I mean, it was just so obvious. Like the guy stepped off of the curb right in front of my car. There was
Yeah.
no way that I could not
Right.
stop.
Exactly. And I wouldn't have
No.
either.
And
It's
I feel like somehow it was divinely ordained that I was supposed to be there at that time and have this experience and have all of these tumultuous thoughts and feelings coming up in my mind about the whole situation. And, and it just so happened to be booked between the anniversary of the death of my mom and the 4-month anniversary of Rudy's passing. Like, the perfect storm kind of had to happen for whatever up level or upgrade I'm doing is
yes.
how I'm looking at it. But it does feel disorienting and distracting, and I'm okay with it. It is what it is. It's like
That's
living.
a good way to look at it. You look at
Yeah.
it like you're moving up, and because you're not moving away from hardship, you're
Right.
moving. The biggest growth is when we move towards things that are hard for us.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to have a hard life, do easy things. If you
Yeah.
want to have an easy life, do hard things.
Yeah.
And the hard thing for that and for this scenario with you is to actually move towards your mom's passing and moving past
Right.
it, and Rudy's passing and moving past it. It's not a
Yeah.
coincidence. It literally planted itself right between those two times.
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
So and then what does that do? It pushes you up. What does that do? It's another rung up the ladder. You're climbing up a ladder. So
Yeah.
but it's a boy, does that take courage to think about it in that perspective.
Yeah.
Instead of, man, like, I can't fucking believe this stuff happened the minute Rudy has passed and my mother has passed.
Yeah.
You took a different route and said, wow, this happened between there, and I'm going to actually embrace this so I can move up.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean that I didn't have like negative responses. Like I really didn't do anything. Like this morning, I did my dishes that hadn't been done for 5 days. I mean, the whole kitchen was like, there is not a single cat dish left to put food in.
Yes.
So I've been having this conversation with my friend Christine. She lives in Columbus. And so this morning I texted her, I did the fucking dishes. There was no dancing. I wasn't up to it.
And I bet that felt really good to do, man. You know what I mean? Like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's not wrong. There's
It
not,
was like the angriest dish doing that I had ever done.
I don't know, man. To me, it's better to get it out
Yeah.
than to have it just in there. And it's like, no, it's okay. It's okay. Well, fuck no, it ain't okay. We got
Right.
to get this out, man.
Yeah.
Because that just keeps harboring and harboring and harboring in there. And then all these experiences keep piling on and
Right.
until one day the tea kettle's the top's gonna pop
Yeah.
off.
Yeah. And I feel like that, I mean, this is the whole reason why the world is in this predicament that we're in right now, is because people are not willing to go there with, no, I'm not okay. This is not okay. I'm not okay.
Mhm.
And here's what I'm really feeling, and here's what I'm really going through. And, if people can't see it or hear it or, be a part of it, then that's their problem that they need to grow from. And I feel like, again, I'm going to go back into the politics thing, but I do feel like this is the whole reason why the political landscape is focusing on transgender people, because they are like, okay, the way that I am, the whole world wants to tell me that I'm fucked up. But you know what? I'm wearing what I want to wear. I'm doing what I want to do. And I am expressing myself joyfully and authentically. And the reason you can't handle it is because you are not willing to allow yourself to go there. You are suppressing so much within yourself. So, you know, it comes back down to the Shakespeare quote that I probably get wrong, where they say, and I can't even remember what play it's from, methinks thou dost protest too much.
Well, I wanted to share, I just thank everyone for like acknowledging that sometimes we need to give ourselves space to react. Like that's definitely what I went through, you know, with my daughter, with her mental health and the self-harm, and you know, that my brain kind of going back and forth from like ego to like, this isn't real, I'm making the meaning, I'm, you know, to shame coming up, like I had this perfect human and I messed her up. And kind of what you were describing, Linda, like I still did a little bit of work, but I mean, a lot. I just, for 3 days, it was a lot of like laying in bed and crying and letting people know who are safe. Like, yeah, I'm feeling my feelings. Like, this is intense. Like, um, and I feel like mental health is one of those things too, where people have really, some people cannot handle it. They cannot go there. They just, right? Then that's where the stigma comes from. And I've had my own mental health journey where people are just like, just can't hang, just can't be part of your life. This is too much. And yeah, some of it it feels like, is there really something wrong with my brain, or is it that there's just a part, some, yeah, pain that they can't
Face.
acknowledge or feel,
Yeah.
or yeah. But I mean, I'm glad I kind of had those few days to really process the emotion. It was really intense for a while, but I feel like now I'm on the other side and she seems to like be doing better. And today she was like, "Oh, Mom, I was rereading some of my birthday cards and I was thinking about how I just have the best friends and I texted them all that I love them and da, da, you know." Like she's just sounds like she's using some tools too to help like shift herself to gratefulness, which I thought was pretty cool for a 14-year-old.
Yeah. Well, she's gotten to witness you doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they watch what we do, right?
Yeah.
And the, you know, the level of the mind too.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like on the one hand, it's like you don't want your child to suffer, but on the other hand, there's no better motivation
Mm-hmm.
to deal with my stuff than to know that it's going to benefit her. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, let's dig in. And right, like if it has to do with me and just me, sometimes I'm slow, you know, I'll wallow in it, I'll suffer, I'll, you know, drag it along. But when I know she's hurting, it's like, okay, let's dig in, let's get through this.
Yeah. I mean, I'm very upfront about telling people I am definitely outwardly motivated. And the whole reason that I've been doing all of this work for the last 15 years is so that my son doesn't have to go through this shit. Right.
Right.
Because I know he's watching me grow. And I know he's watching what I'm doing, what I'm not doing, how I'm not avoiding the hard stuff, how I am willing to talk about the hard stuff. I mean, it was one of the most difficult conversations I had to have with him a month or so before Rudy died, when we were hearing about the challenges that he was having with his heart. And Rudy was, he was so laid back. He was almost comatose sometimes, I swear to God. But, you know, he's telling Trey, like, oh yeah, I'm going to be fine. I'm going to go to the doctor. They're going to adjust my dialysis. I'm going to get some medication. I'm going to be fine. And I pulled my son aside and I said, look, here's what's really happening. What's really happening is dialysis sucks on every other organ. It ruins them. And it's a business. So they are not going to adjust his dialysis enough to actually make a difference for his heart. His heart is dying. And so I just wanted him to be prepared. Like, this is this is the end. So look at it that way. Don't let your dad candy coat it, because that's what he was doing. And it could have been because he was terrified. And, you know, rightfully so. But he would never talk about it. So I will never know. I will never know. But I'm so glad that I had that conversation with my son, so that when my husband died, he wasn't like hit upside the head with a 2x4 thinking, but I thought he was fine. So yeah, outwardly motivated all the way here. And I think our kids are like the best motivation. So yeah, thank you for sharing all that, Heather. And it's good to have you here, Anna Marie.
Yeah, I have to jet, but thank you. This was a good session today. I appreciate y'all very much.
Thank
And
you, Daniel.
yeah, have a phenomenal
Listening.
week, and we'll reconnect next week.
All right. Have a good one.
Peace.
Yeah. So yeah. So like I said, this was a challenging section for me to read, because my brain's not on all 4 cylinders at the moment, and that's okay. But I did love in 10 where he says, anyone who elects a totally insane guide must be totally insane himself. Because I was like, oh, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm electing to allow the totally insane guide. The ego is like running the show at the moment. It is not true that you do not know the guide is insane. You know it because I know it, and you have judged it by the same standard as I have. The ego literally lives on borrowed time, and its days are numbered. Do not fear the last judgment, but welcome it. And do not wait, for the ego's time is borrowed from your eternity. This is the second coming, which was made for you as the first was created. I mean, you know, we know when we're in that crazy, insane space because we have worked on our awareness. And so we know when we're there, and we can either decide to spiritually bypass it and glaze right over it and pretend that it's not happening, or we can decide to judge the shit out of ourselves when we're in that space of feeling like we're sitting in the mud puddle with the ego. Or we can take every ounce of learning from it as possible. And that's what my intention is to just suck all the learning out of it that I possibly can, and move up. I'm moving on up, just like the Jeffersons. So yeah. Anybody have anything else that they would like to share? We have about 5 minutes left.
You know, I noticed attack came up several times. Do you think it'd be possible for you to read? Remember that thing, What is Attack, or is Attack Real? Or I don't remember, a thing by Regina Von Akers. You think you could read that?
Let me see if I can find it. I'm not sure where I had it.
Oh, let me see. I have my, I don't know if I can find it.
Oh, here it is.
Yeah, and it took me, I was talking to somebody this week, and she said she read it for like years. I introduced her to it, and
Yeah.
she hated it, and she was angry at it, and she didn't like it. And I realized what is the most important line in it. Everything we ask for, we are given. We are given. I don't remember what it's, the last line in one of the paragraphs. So if you could read it, it'd be great.
Yeah, I'm going to do that right now, and that will close us out. Whoops. Dag blam it. There we go. All right. Is attack possible? No, attack is not possible because all thought is shared. Each one receives as he has asked to receive through his thought. Therefore, no one is ever attacked, and only his request is answered. Within perception, attack is a misperception of your experience. And it is a misperception of what you believe you are doing and a misperception of that which you experience as being done. It is always misperception and never fact. I ask you to let go of attack thoughts, not because they are attack, but because they block true perception from your sight. As you believe in attack, you cannot see love because you believe love is attack. Love is not attack. Love is giving through spirit to spirit that which spirit requests. This giving is never given consciously, as consciousness is the domain of the ego. This giving is natural and outside of the domain of the ego, so that it is without any conscious involvement at all. Love cannot stop, but love can be misperceived if you believe in attack. In order to see love's reflection through true perception, you must be willing to let go of all perception of attack. Remember this: when you believe you are attacking or have attacked, you are completely wrong. Give the misperception to me that you may see differently. When you believe you are attacked, you are 100% wrong. Give this misperception to me that you may see differently. When you believe you see one attacking another, you are believing in attack yourself. Give this misperception to me that you may see differently. Miracles are never under conscious control because giving is never under conscious control. Spirit is not conscious as the ego is. The ego, or part of the mind that thinks it is separate, interprets all that is experienced by making up stories about that which is experienced. However, all of that is made up, and so it is the veil that hides true perception from your awareness. When you do something, you may think, I am doing this because of this or that. Know that whatever you think after because of is not true. The only reason you do anything is because you are guided to do it by your thoughts, which come to you from your spirit. All that you do because you are guided to do it. You can never do anything independent of guidance. This is why you are innocent. Yet I teach that you have a choice about what you will do and how you will feel. And this is also true. This is true because you get to request through spirit the experiences that shall be given you. You make this request through choosing which thoughts to believe or accept. If you accept that you are attacking, being attacked, or seeing attack, you will have the experience of attack because you have requested it through your perception. What you ask for is given you always. If you see the temptation or the opportunity to perceive attack, but you choose to let that opportunity pass you by refusing to accept the perception, you request the miracle. The miracle is not really a miracle at all. It is only a truer way of perceiving, which is seeing that there is no attack because there is only love. Watch your mind for your perceptions. Ask yourself, what do I truly want to experience right now? As you answer this question, you make a conscious decision about how to see. The answer to your request is delivered through spirit, which is not conscious, but it is always exactly that which you honestly requested. Yeah, that's powerful stuff. Really powerful stuff.
Yeah, especially that line said, what you ask for is given you always. And it's not the body that what body is asking. Oh, I want to win the lottery. No, it's not. It's like, it's the spirit stuff. We don't always know what we're asking for, but we get it always. It's so amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, brilliant stuff that Regina got. That's for sure.
Well, I have to run, but that was perfect because I have a meeting right now that I don't know how it's going to go, but now I'm in the right mind frame. I'm like,
Oh, awesome.
spirit guide me.
Awesome. All right.
Thank you,
Thanks
Linda.
for coming,
Thank you,
Heather.
everyone.
See you soon.
See
Okay, next week, we move on to section 5, the Unhealed Healer. So I look forward to seeing you all then. Thank you, everybody. Love you. Have a great week.